Back about 1968, back in the old days, I was a school teacher clearing $385 a month, so I had a lot of extra money to put into a business. So I opened a little beer and a pizza place out of town called the Grad School. It was more or less because of all my knowledge in drinking beer and eating pizza in college. I thought I knew exactly what to do and how to run it. We opened up first part of June, and I went on the air advertising, really exaggerating what we had available, things like Elvis is going to be here on Friday and the Beach Boys on Saturday. And because of that, people were rolling in, and they were a little upset because Elvis wasn't there, but we did have beer and pizza, charged $1 to get in. And because they had to come back in, they had to pay $1. If they stayed in, there was fines. So when we got full, I'd turn the heat on so we get people to leave, so we'd come back and get another $1. It always worked out well. The only way you could make money there, $1 a head and 25-cent beer and $2 pizzas. So that was kind of the start of it. And since then, we've grown a little, and going on 11 stores now. So it's been quite a ride from the very first one. Zorba's open in the next year, right here where we're filming this. In fact, I'm sitting where a little cabin sat that was built in 1910 that I actually lived in for 3 years while I was teaching. And ultimately, we tore that down and put a Cowabunga bar in, and as they say, the rest is history. But that was the beginning, and then from then on, Pelican and Ottertail, and they all kind of followed every 2 or 3 years, and then there was a lag, and then 5 years and so forth, and we started growing about one every couple of years, and it's been quite a ride. Now with 11 of them and 700 plus employees, we're more or less a fixture in northern Minnesota. The growth of Zorba's, it was kind of a spurty, kind of a jumps and stops. The first time that we really took off was when they changed the drinking age from 18 to 21. It was like the floodgates opened. Detroit Lakes was pointed out as one of the 3 party spots in the nation, and I think that was in Playboy magazine. And I had no idea what to expect, and it was literally like a dam breaking. And then they turned the drinking age back down, and things slowed down again. And once we got the pizza, I know one of the advertising gimmicks that H2M brought on board was we roll our own since 1969. We didn't roll our own until about 1976 when Rick, my partner, who also was a cook for me out in California and learned Mexican food, brought that in, and that's when we expanded. Our pizza was fresh made, and the Mexican food was fairly authentic. And I remember the first time that I heard someone ordering when we had tacos, one of the Minnesota people said, "I'd like a taco." And of course, the quesadillas were big. And one of my managers, when we got Mexican beer in, I remember he called me and says, "Tom, we're all out of that Dos Equis beer," which is of course Dos Equis. So it was kind of like, Swedish, German, Scandinavians trying to adjust to that, because even with pizza, when I brought pizza in here, there was a pizza parlor in Detroit Lakes when I was in high school here that closed because pizza just wasn't going to make it. But that was kind of the evolution of our menu, and we've slowly added spaghetti and whatever through Rick's direction. Mostly, he's an excellent cook and very creative. And then all the other partners have brought things in, like our green chili that one of our partners brought in from Colorado, and Lee's Taco. And a lot of the things have evolved from the partners bringing them in and trying them and doing some samples and whatever, and then we put them in the menu if they take off. I got the harebrained idea back in the 80s that I thought giving a grand prize away, having people register at all the Zorbas. At the time, I think we had 4 of them, and then we would have a big party and give away this grand prize. I bought a 1957 Cadillac from Roy Rogers, who was a cowboy star back in the 50s and 60s, Dale Evans and Trigger and whatever. So, and that was the first giveaway, and it was kind of interesting. The next year, I was racing stock cars, and through probably a stroke of intelligence for my own, I decided to quit racing, and I gave away the stock car, and that was kind of an interesting thing. And then one thing developed to another, and now lately we've been giving away muscle cars. This year we're giving away a new Mustang GT 500 Shelby, bright red one. It's unbelievably cool and 550 horsepower, and we come up, eat my crust is what the guys came up with, an advertising agency, and so that's going to be a fun deal, and that's kind of how it evolved. I think we've given away something like 31 major prizes, from boats to pontoons, jet skis, time of pizza, all types of cars, GTOs and whatever. So it's a neat deal, and it's kind of a staple now. People say, what are you giving away next year? So we're always working on that. I think the main reason this company works is that we draw from our employees, from our staff, and ultimately, if they've proven to be exactly what we're looking for with the right attitude, and we talk about attitude all the time, and because of that, we draw the partners from that. And managing partners basically have a lot of autonomy, and they basically are the owners of the stores and run them with the guidelines and with guidance from us. But it's been very effective, and you know, it sounds trite that someone talks about how great the people are, and but you know what? It is the fact that the reason we're doing so well is because of the people, and the managers take the attitude that, you know, we're going to make it right. We're going to make sure that people leave with a smile, and they live that. And I really believe that as long as we continue to do that, that's the way it's going to be. It's not a franchise. You can't just call us up and say, we'd like to buy a Zorba's franchise. We get that all the time, but the only way you can get in the Zorba family is basically work with us. And after a few years, if it looks like you like the business and we like you, then we offer you the next store that's opening. And that's kind of how it evolved. I think almost every partner we have now may have started out as a dishwasher, literally. And that's the way it's worked, and it's been very successful. We are a family. Once again, it sounds almost like, you know, I'm just spewing the company line, but we believe that. And it's extremely exciting to see the way this thing is growing, and many of my partners now have gotten married and have children, and generations are growing, and we think there's no end to that, of course. There's 10,000 lakes in Minnesota, and we've only used 11 of them. Welcome to Zorba's. Whether this is your first time or your 10,000th time, I know one thing that you can be sure of: you're going to have a great meal, you're going to enjoy yourself, and you're going to end up smiling, because that's what we produce here. Always great food, lots of beer selections, lots of fun games. We cover everyone, but more than anything else, what we guarantee you is that you're going to enjoy yourself, and you're going to leave with a smile, a full stomach, and you'll be coming back. Everybody comes back. So we'll see you next time.